Okay, this movement was sent to me with the thoughts that there was something wrong with the pallets, that their escapement might be a problem because it wouldn't keep running. And I set it up on a board, and it's a Korean movement. Set it up on a board, and it seemed to be running fine. And then I noticed something, and quite literally, you look in there, look at the lantern pinion. Look at this lantern pinion. But that first one, this is so scary. This is quite literally a ticking time bomb that could let loose at any time. I need to get that spring captured and get that, because if that lets loose at that point, that spring is going to fly out of there with some pretty powerful juice. So I'm going to let this down. Okay, we're going to put a collar in here and a capture ring, and then I'm going to use a letdown key. That's this, goes on here, and I'm going to bring this over here, and I'm going to very carefully let this thing down. Now let's see, I'm going to get this. You got me pretty nervous here. And I gotta get this released. I think I'm probably gonna have to grab it this way. It's a strange looking click. And then let this down. Okay, now let's see what I got here. Need to get that clamp on there. That clamp over there. See if I can slide that around this way a little bit. Okay. And now we'll let that down the rest of the way. Okay. Now I can relax a little bit. That's the power off of that one. That is really a scary situation. Let me take a look at that again. Let me set this up so that we can take a look at what we actually had here. That's terrifying. Had that let loose, this spring would have just flown out of here, and heaven knows what kind of damage would have been done, not just to the movement, but anybody who was nearby. That is really scary. Now we'll do the same with the strike side. I don't see right offhand anything that looks like a serious problem. This will be just a standard letdown procedure, so we'll let this one down. I'll be right back. Oh, was I wrong about that letdown going to be a straightforward one? I won't be able to show you. Maybe I can. Looking at the ratchet wheel on this strike side, look at the condition. That tooth right there, but even beyond that, those teeth, And I don't know if I can even get in to see it, but there's a whole section in that ratchet wheel where there's our teeth missing. That could have let loose too. Another time bomb. Well, we got both springs captured now, and now we can take this apart. Alright, let's start taking this apart. Let's see. We'll open that up. Head the suspension spring out. Take a look at what else we got here. Okay, we got a nut back here. 4 on the front. We'll just take those off. Got a nut driver here. Let's see. That'll be about the right size, not a little big. Hands are still shaking. Too small. I don't know what they got here. Don't know what's going on here. This is not a standard size nut. Well, in that case, we will have to use pliers to take them off. And we'll put run side here, strike side here. Just loosen these up. I'm not even going to bother to look at the bushings yet. That scared daylights out of me. Okay, we got one over here we gotta get undone. And then the plate can be taken off. Okay. And we'll take this plate off now. Alright, we'll just dismantle it. There's our position of our teeth, or our wheels. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let's see how this goes. We'll take them all out. Put the run side here. Strike side over there. Okay, this is the third wheel from the strike side, and while the trundles on this lantern pinion are straight, look at this shroud. It's crooked. I'm not sure. Is that slipping off of the ends of those trundles? I don't know. It's pretty doggone iffy. Yep, another one we got to look at closely. It has also got a lot of that's just oil nastiness. So we gotta clean that up. Some of the, say the pivots on these are in pretty bad shape too. So we're going to look at the. Let's see if I can. Okay, let's Let's see if we can see it that way. Yeah, these pivots, look at the dirt. Those pivots are definitely in need of servicing, but we've definitely got to address this. This is just insane. Cannot believe that lantern pinion is in. And I would say this has to be the shoulder that rotated, because this is part of the wheel itself. So we'll take a look at what we need to do here. Yeah, here's our problem. Watch this. Just grab a hold of that shroud and watch. I'm just going to light finger touch. Look at that. That's what's happening with that lantern pinion. And we got to find a way. We got to clean this thoroughly. I think we've got to take that shroud off, clean that up. We may have to make a new shroud for it. As either that, or I'm going to have to clean this thoroughly. Maybe put a bit of silver solder on it to hold that in place, because the trundles don't look worn. The trundles aren't worn. It's just that shroud is turning. I can turn it with my fingers. Just grab a hold of it and turn it, straighten it. So there's our problem. Dangerous, dangerous situation, though. That's how loose that shroud is. Alright, here's that ratchet. Here's that ratchet wheel on the main wheel of the strike side. Look at. There you go. Or actually, that was still functioned. Look at, there's one that's busted. It was still catching on that, but just barely. Can you imagine how easy that's going to be to break? It was still catching on that one, so this thing still functioned, but that is so dangerously damaged there that, wow. So we got to find see if I got a replacement for it somewhere, or see if I can dismantle this and find a replacement for that ratchet. That's going to take some time. Okay. This was on here like this. And then this was on like this. And this was on here, and there was a piece of brass that was swaged onto this metal piece. So I put it in a lathe, and I cut that off so that I can dismantle this. Drove this off once I had the other pieces off. And there's the condition of that ratchet wheel. That is not usable. I don't like it at all. Not only are these broken off, it was barely functioning. Some of these others don't look real good either. So, got a piece of brass here, same diameter. I think maybe what I'll do, put this in the lathe, turn this down to these diameters that I need, and then use this to mark out the teeth. And I don't have the ability to cut a new gear, so what I'll have to do is just lay it out hand file new teeth. Reassemble. Okay, so we've got to take a piece, this piece, and cut a piece on it that's 6.1 millimeters total length. The diameter is set of the gear. We've got to turn a portion down so that this diameter is 10.2 millimeters. We need to make the gear, the ratchet 2.1 millimeters thick. The total thickness here is 6.1, so this is exactly 4 millimeters. And then we would bore it out exactly 6 millimeters. And so then we'll mark out on the end. We will lay out the teeth and file them by hand. Okay, so I turned this on the lathe. I got to put teeth on that. This will go in here. And there'll be teeth there, of course. And then this will go here. We'll pin this over to tie that in. And we'll have a new click on it, hopefully, a new ratchet. So what I did was put some Dicom on here. I scratched a line around the depth that I want the teeth to be. Then I took my little jeweler's saw, very fine blade, and I cut down on, I had taken the old, put Dicom around the edge, taken the old gear, there's 13 teeth, put it on here, made a mark where the tip of each tooth was. It's actually got to go that way. Then use the jeweler's saw to cut down to that line. So I've got 13 slots now. That's going to be the depth of each tooth. And now I'm in the process of using this file. It has no teeth on that side, it's flat side here. Putting it in the vise, and I'm going to file out this way each tooth, like so. I'll go around and file those out and then reshape, and we'll have a new gear. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 more to go. Okay, 8 so far. And of course we got some finishing, a lot of finishing to do, but we're coming along. Okay, last tooth. Rough cut. Placed, roughed it out. Now I'll go back, do some finishing, and we'll have ourselves a new gear. Okay, let's see how this goes. Oh, I think got to reshape this click just a little bit. I'm going to flatten it out on the back side. A little indication here. Let's see how it works. Yeah. I think it's going to do the trick, but we'll reshape the click just a little bit and see how that works. Okay, we got that placed in the hole. Got the click on with the spring. Let's see how she goes. Yeah, I think that's going to be all right. Okay, got her. Okay, finished, polished, and in place. Gonna work fine. Now I gotta put this back together. Okay, the arbor that main wheel, that all goes back on. I can't believe how badly worn this is. This is that's the bearing surface right there. This is the bearing on the other end. What a mess, huh? Alright, so I'm going to go in and just grind these, polish them. That means I'm going to have to replace some bushings in the plate, but we got to have this running right. Okay, we've cleaned up that arbor. I can't really do a super job on it simply because the gouges are so deep that really almost needs to be replaced, but we'll at least polish it enough that it'll be better off than what it was. Alright, because I cleaned up this arbor, this bushing was much too loose. It was flopping around like crazy. So I just turned a new one. I got to broach it out to fit. And I just turned this on the lathe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into this hole. And then I'm going to, and I put a little bit of a chamfer on this side. Whoops. put a little bit of a chamfer inside here. So now I'm going to put this down here, and I'm going to use a rounded punch. I'm going to punch this over into that chamfered area, and that'll tighten that up. Okay, getting this driven back on the Arbor is not a lot of fun. I'm going to put that in a hole here, take a tube, put it over the top, and it really goes on hard. So you gotta, let me see where we are now. A little bit more. This is one I wish I had a hydraulic press. Okay, let's see how we're doing there. Run side wheel. Just look at the teeth on this thing. How worn they are, distorted. Really bad. There's one that's bent, mangled. One way to fix this is to dismantle this, turn the wheel around so that the lantern pinion runs on an unworn side, but these are so badly worn. So I started looking through my junk, and I found another wheel, and I thought it couldn't be that they'd be the same size, so I measured this way, and they are exactly the same that way. And then I thought, well, let's see about teeth. So I counted the teeth on this one, 84 teeth, and guess what, 84 teeth on this one. So they are compatible. So I'm going to take this wheel, which is not worn at all, and I'm going to replace it on this one. Now to attack this, getting rid of this extremely worn wheel by replacing it with this wheel. The diameter of this wheel and the diameter of this one are the same number of teeth. And question would be, why don't I just leave this intact and just replace this whole thing? Well, the problem is, if you look at the click springs, it winds the opposite direction. The other thing is that the arbors aren't the same length as far as distance between plates. So I'm going to have to dismantle this one, and do an exchange here. So I'll start with this one, put it in the lathe. What I got to do to dismantle that is to cut this little brass arbor, this little brass piece down in here. This piece here, cut that off, as that's peened over the edge of this piece here. Once that's cut back, then this will come off, the wheel will come off, and the rest of it we're going to leave intact. And we just want to get that wheel off, and that's what we want. And then we'll have to do the same here. Of course, got to get the spring off of here too. So let's go take this and we'll cut it off. Okay. Got the, we'll put these together and see absolutely perfect. And this is the one we have to rid of. Let me get rid of the spring. We have the spring off. And now what we're going to have to do is we are going to have to again cut this one off. We did the other one. And then we're also going to have to modify a piece, maybe silver solder it. But we got to cut this off so we can get this piece off, this disc off. Then the wheel will come off. We'll be able then to change this click. Put this 2 clicks. Anyway, let's take this off. On the lathe, we'll cut this back so that this can come apart. Okay, I cut this, and now this comes off, and this comes off. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to modify that so that we can get, I don't know, we might be able to just peen that. No, not likely. Let's see what we got here. This is the one. Okay, like so. And I think, well, we may be able to. We'll see. Okay, we're going to take that wire out. Okay, that has to be bent. Pull that one out. Take this one out. So we're going to take this one off. Take this one off, move that over here. And the way to do that is we just got to grind this off. You have to grind this one off. And then what we will do is just make a new rivet to put on it. And we'll do that. Ready or not, let's see. It's coming. Okay, let's see. Coming out. There it is. And let's hit it again. One more time. There we go. Okay, that one's ready. And do the same thing over here. Take that one off. goes. Oh, that's pretty big. Let's see, I gotta have a... That's pretty good size, so I'll put that here. Yeah, maybe I should... No, that'll work. Yeah, let me get that spring out of there first. That's good. Alright, now we'll put this one back on here. And then I'll go from, and there we are. Here's the bad one. Here's the one I have. Teeth all line up. It's exactly the same diameter. So all we got to do now is put the pieces back on, and we'll get rid of this one that's all chewed up, mangled, and some of these teeth are really, really bad. So we'll have a nice clean one. Okay, what we need to do, we need to make this hole the same size as this hole. So I'll cut that out. Use the step drill to open that hole, and have to broach it a little bit because it won't quite fit yet, but it's close. Just broach it until it fits. That one needs to be the same thing. Okay. All right. Okay. And so broach that hole. And there we go. Alright, so now the gear will be on there. And all we gotta do is put the click on, and then we'll put this piece on. And I think we might be able to, yeah, I think we can. I don't know, we'll see. The clicks are different, so this hole for the click on this new wheel is too far out from the center. You can see, like so. So I'm going to move this over here. And I'm going to put a new hole here and here for the spring. So I'm going to put the click that way. So we're going to put that hole there. And I'm going to drill a 2mm hole right there. turned a new rivet to hold the click on. So I think I'll black that now. A little chemical blacking. Yeah. Makes it look like original. Okay. Now I gotta put this in here. There we go. Okay, that's in there now. Now we gotta pin this on the back. Just gotta drive it down tight. And we'll have that attached with that there. And then we gotta drill a hole here for a spring. Put the spring back on, and then we'll have that done. Spring in, and this will go in here. This click back. Okay, that's how that goes together. We got the spring wire on. It's kind of an awkward thing. And this goes over and covers that spring wire. Now what we got to do is squeeze this together, pin this over here, and we'll be done. I had to make a new inside ring for this because where I cut this piece off, it was too short to reinstall this, so I turned the edge down on that, on this, made a little ring, stuck it on there, and just soldered that on. So now when I put this on, there'll be plenty of material to pin over and lock that in place. Okay, I got these two running right now, and this one I put a bit of solder, silver solder on the end, so that shroud can't move anymore. I did the same with this one, so that can't move anymore. Now the only problem we have here is right here. That's awfully loose, both sides, and I don't want that coming way forward that way. So I'm going to make bushings for front and back on that. Okay, now we got to cut a new one on the lathe. Okay, there's this piece made. That's going to go in here. Pin that over. Then this will go in here, and we'll be in good shape. Out, I'll go cut a new one. We'll put a new one in here, and then we'll be done with the bushing. Okay, I left extra this bushing on the inside because it was a really excessive end shake. It was allowing this gear, this wheel, to move forward enough actually hit the springs on the, or was allowing two wheels to interfere. So by putting a little extra in there, I get rid of the end shake, a lot of the, but there's not enough right now, so I got to grind that extension in there down a little bit. And so we just take, it's got to come down just a little bit. We'll take a coarse file. Just take a little bit of height off. Give us a little bit more end shake. And take a fine file. Kind of smooth it and finish it. See how that works. It spins good, and a little bit of end shake in it, so that should be good. This is no longer wobbling around. Okay, now this is the set of wheels that were where the wheel was damaged. The main wheel was damaged, and this wheel, the lantern pinion, is all twisted to daylight. So the lantern pinion is straightened out and tightened so that it won't move again. I actually silver soldered it, and this is now, and so now we have, there's some wobble in that wheel on the bottom, but it's not going to hurt anything. It works. Very freely. Everything is tightened up. Give it a push and you see how nice and free that runs. So that one is done, and we'll check out some of these others. What I did was I went to all of these sort of poor engineering that I've seen in this thing. I went to every wheel that has a lantern pinion on it, and I put a bit of Loctite at the joint in every one of those, so that those shrouds will not move, will be less likely to move. So we're on our way to getting this back to being a functioning movement. And I'm going to lubricate this spring, but I'm not sure what's going on with it. I've never ever seen a spring like this. Really hard to see on camera, but these springs are normally, they're flat, straight across. This has got a concavity. It's concave this way. I've never seen a spring do that. It goes around. Now when you get way down further in the spring, it's flat again, but this goes on for quite a few feet. I don't know if it affects the way the spring works or not. I'm going to go ahead and oil it, put it back in, see what happens, but it could be at some time in the future it's going to have to be replaced. The spring, what I use is stuff called Slick 50. And then I can take a brush like this one, and then I just start working this lube around. Make sure it's on all of the coils. Now we'll wind it up and see how that works. Gotta wear gloves so I can because it's so nasty oily. Okay, now we're going to put that on here. Let's see, why is that way? It goes this way. And we have to put that into the spring winder and wind it up. Okay. The original problem, you remember, was the second wheel of that run side had a shroud twisted that made the well, look at this one. You know, I don't think they drilled the holes right. Some of these posts are straight and some of them look crooked. Anyway, I straightened every one of them. There were others that were loose. Straightened every one. And there are going to be people that don't like this at all. But I took some red Loctite and I put it at the junction of the arbor and the shroud. Let it go down in to just assure that those are going to be tight. Now, I didn't wipe off the red with reason. I figure in the future it'll serve as a clue that Loctite's been put on there, so that somebody will know enough to heat it up if they have to deal with it. But at least that's going to ensure that they're not going to twist and catastrophically destroy the movement. Okay, I've put the strike side wheels back in just to see if they're going to run smoothly. Okay, I think I've got the lantern pinions all straightened out, tightened up, so that everything meshes properly. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Got end shake on that one. We have end shake here, end shake here, end shake there, and end shake here. Okay, so everything is as it should be. That runs freely. So now we will go back, we'll try the strike side, make sure it's running freely, and then we can do the final cleaning and putting it back together. Okay, I had to straighten out this hammer. Things are all bent to daylights. Then I had to put things back in here to see how that hammer, the arm inside has to be bent, make things work. So it winds this way, so it's going to run this way. And I just had to make sure that I have this right now so that it works correctly. Okay, hammer is going to strike fine. Okay, this will have to be bent by the owner to hit the gong because I don't have the clock here, so I can't really tell where that's got to be. At least we know it works. Okay, now I guess we can put this back together. Have to put a spring on. We'll go from there. Here's what bothers me. Talk about poor quality manufacturing. If you look at this lantern pinion, look at those trundles. Look at the trundle through there. This looks straight. But as you turn this, look how crooked that one looks. You should be able to look through the lantern pinion. And if you see trundles on the other side, they ought to be parallel, and you can see that they aren't. That's just terrible. There's nothing I can do about it. Okay, got it all back together. Not its own pendulum yet, but I gotta clean it and fix that. But it is running. Let's see how it runs this way. Beat amplifier really makes it noisy, but at least you can hear it ticking. Take the beat amplifier, turn it off. Okay, now let's trip the strike. A little different, isn't it? Okay, we'll let it run, see how she goes overnight. Okay, so what did we do with this one? We put 4 bushings in here. We put a new wheel on this one. We put a new ratchet on that one. We straightened out a couple of wheels. We straightened and fastened by silver solder and with Loctite the lantern pinion shrouds that were slipping, and that's about it. So anyway, for something that was only supposed to have an adjustment needed on the pallets, this was a whole heck of a lot more, but we got it done. I'm not particularly fond of these movements. They're pretty much junk, poorly engineered and poorly built, made in Korea. But it's running.